Hello everyone, this is HammerTron here with a new action figure review for you. This is a review of an older action figure that came out way back in 1994. The Toy Biz Fantastic Four Mr. Fantastic action figure. I bought it in the store way back then, and I still have the packaging because I like to keep the packaging. It looks kind of nice, and I also like to store the action figure in it. This particular packaging did not survive very well. It got crushed somehow, but at least nothing's really broken. So here it is, the front of the package with Mr. Fantastic and the accessory. The accessory is not quite straight in there. So here's the front of the package. There is the top. There is the bottom. Here is one side with a price tag. $5.99 for an action figure. A little more than 30 years ago. Here is the other side. Here is the back that shows the action feature, a little biography, a cross-sell showing the other Fantastic Four action figures and the first wave of Iron Man action figures. These were based on cartoons on TV at the time. So let's open this up. Now, I keep the packaging because it looks nice, and I also like to store the action figure in there, but I was very careful when I opened it. Had the time to keep the top part attached, so hopefully it will stay there. It might fall apart eventually because this packaging is about 30 years old. So we'll pull out the Mr. Fantastic action figure and the accessory, and we'll put this aside, and we'll get this straightened out. There we go. Nice closer look at Mr. Fantastic. Here is the accessory. Some sort of techno vest. Probably based on something in the comic book. And we snap it together. We have to wrap it around and snap it together somehow. So I'll do that a little bit later. Let's see how tall this action figure is. According to the tape measure, he's about 5 inches tall, or 12 3/4 centimeters tall. So standard height for an action figure way back then. Here is Mr. Fantastic. Now his action feature was stretchy arms, and we can see that they're still rubbery. Actually, after 30 years, and I hardly ever touched it, they are still in pretty good shape. Pliable, rubbery, no articulation, and it still looks okay. Slightly different color between the plastic and this rubber. And a nice 4 symbol there. And the head sculpt looks okay. And his pose has his legs spread out like an action superhero pose. And the bottoms of the feet. And here is the back. So it looks pretty good. Let's check out the articulation. I think normally the head would turn, and maybe it doesn't turn because the body is different. It's a hard clamshell that is meant to hold the rubbery pieces in place here. So maybe that's why there's no articulation at the neck. At the legs, you can kick forward just that far, kick back just a little bit, kick forward just that far, and back just a little bit. Single jointed knees, go that far, so we can put him in a seated position. So the articulation works. The action feature, we're supposed to be able to stretch his arms. And I really don't want to pull too hard, but I'm pretty happy. After 30 years, it's still pliable and kind of works. Although if I pull really hard, I'm sure I'll break it, so I don't want to do that. And let's check out the vest here. So I think we can slide this over. And Then we turn this over, plug it into the holes. Let's see, how does that fit? So I think that'll plug in over here. Actually, I think I'll just have to pause this so I can get it closer and do it in front of my face. So hang on. Okay, there it is. His scientific techno vest has finally been attached. We just have to push the little pegs through the holes. There's kind of a soft, pliable plastic. So, simple, single-colored plastic, but looks pretty cool. And it is based on something that did appear in the comic books at some point. I do remember reading about it and seeing the techno vest, and it just looked cool. So, altogether, a pretty nice action figure, although the thigh parts here, the plastic just feels a little bit sticky, so I think that's an indication that this particular kind of plastic is degrading over time. Actually, you know, the lower legs are also a bit sticky too, so it's a little disappointing. But it is 30 years old and it still looks pretty good, and it seems to have held up pretty nicely after all this time, although I hardly ever touched it. So, pretty nice looking action figure with an actual action feature. Here is the Toy Biz Mr. Fantastic action figure next to a pair of 4-inch action figures. On the right is an adventure from an Animal Planet set I reviewed a while ago. On the left is the Fortnite Jonesy action figure by Jazzwares. Here is the Toy Biz Mr. Fantastic action figure next to a 6-inch scale action figure on the left. The Marvel Legends Mr. Fantastic action figure by Hasbro. This version was released in 2020. And a 7-inch action figure on the right. The Masters of the Universe Masterverse He-Man action figure by Mattel. And a 5-inch Mr. Fantastic action figure can fit in okay with the larger scale action figures, if we consider the larger scale action figures to be monster type characters. The Hasbro Mr. Fantastic action figure from 2020. This is a later version or a more recent version of the Fantastic Four uniform, and also this version of Mr. Fantastic is bearded, while the Toy Biz version is based on the way Mr. Fantastic looked in the comic books during the late 80s or early 90s. This Toy Biz Mr. Fantastic action figure, I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good, and the action feature is very interesting, although it limits posability, and I think nowadays I prefer posability over particular action features, although it's a very nice action feature. The action figure itself looks okay. Looks pretty good, although it has limited articulation, and I prefer the articulation nowadays, so they're much more posable, but the appearance looks pretty good the way it is. And I'm pretty happy that the action figure has pretty much held up over all this time, although it is getting a little sticky on the legs here. And we'll see how long the rubbery arms here last on this particular action figure. So, pretty nice action figure. And it still holds up, although it doesn't look or articulate as nicely as action figures of today look. So thank you for watching my review video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment. Did you have this action figure way back in the 90s? And subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my future reviews and commentary. I'll see you next time. Bye.